we have the founder of the Together Project. Her name is Louise Gordon. Is that correct?
It is.
That is Louise Gordon. And she's here to tell us a little bit about what she does. But before I start, how did you find getting here today?
Absolutely fine, yeah.
Good.
Just jumped on the overground from Walthamstow.
Oh, great. So nice, local and that. And are you a local girl or...?
Yeah, I live in Walthamstow. I've been there for the last few years, but I was born in South London.
Oh, South. Okay, so you're a London girl. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Hi, Shahid. How are you
Hello,
today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, yes. You sent me all the information yesterday on this wonderful project. I had a look through it last night and this morning. And, well, who better off to start off what this is about? Louise, what is the Together Project?
So I founded the Together Project last year as a way to bring younger and older people together in order to reduce loneliness, improve well-being, tackle ageism and unite our local communities, because in this country we're massively segregated by age, and that causes lots and lots of problems for everybody. So it means that younger people are deprived of the wisdom and the life experience that older people can offer, and a lot of older people can feel isolated and lonely. Age UK released some research recently saying over 1 million older people in this country say they always or often feel lonely, and that's really shocking. So we want to help address that, and we do that through joyful activities that bring people together and put a smile on people's faces.
Okay, so you, from a personal perspective, what got you into this? What made you think, you know what, everyone's lonely, let's do a Together Project? What made you go into this? What's your background?
So I've been a volunteer with charities both for older people and for younger people for many years. I was a mentor for a young boy in a school in Hackney, and I was a befriender for an elderly blind lady who lived alone. And my professional expertise is in kind of marketing and advertising, and I'd always thought, actually, I want something that feels a bit more meaningful and a bit more purpose-driven. Okay. And so I decided to set up the Together Project to combine my professional experience with my charity experience as well. So it actually started off when I was coming to the end of maternity leave. I've got a young son, and I was originally just going to take him into a local care home to go and visit some of the residents there, have a cup of tea. And that idea grew and grew into the idea for a project that actually did this at a bigger level and brought different sections of our society together. Okay,
right. So you're getting a picture now, right, where you started from. So, congratulations on
Thank you.
Was it boy?
Boy, yes.
How old?
He will be 2 in August.
Oh, 2. Okay, so
yeah.
I bet the older grannies love him when you go in there with him.
Yeah, he's good fun.
So that's where the idea formulated from.
Yeah,
from just
exactly.
taking shots, seeing what the happiness and on their face, the joy.
Yeah, because I started taking him into a local care home with a group of other parents with young children and doing sing-alongs, and just kind of tested that out as an idea, and it's grown and grown. So the first activity that we've launched as a Together Project is called Songs and Smiles.
That was my next question, because it's your first activity was Songs and Smiles, so it says tell us about it, but tell us about it.
So it's we call it a singing and social group for babies and toddlers and their grown-ups, so their parents, their guardians, their grandparents, and care home residents. And it's held in the care home lounge. They're weekly sessions, and we sing songs, we play instruments, we have coloured scarves, we have a bubble machine, and it's really, really good fun. And then afterwards we have meet and mingle time, we call it, which is tea and biscuits and a chance for everybody to get to know each other. And it's designed to be a really enriching and stimulating activity for the little children and also for the older people, but mostly to be really, really good fun. And we want everybody to leave with a smile on their faces, whether that's care home staff, parents, children, residents.
So when you say songs and smiles, okay, so what, do you go in there, set up a karaoke machine, start singing? Like, how does that work? Do you go in there, start serenading one of the older ladies with a guitar? Like, how does it start off?
So it's grown. When I first started it, it was literally us getting together and singing nursery rhymes and kind of golden oldies. Yeah. And then over time, I've worked with a music therapist who specialises in working with older people, people with dementia, and also younger people and people with special needs, to help put more of a structure around the sessions and make them as engaging as possible for every member of the group. So we might move to music, listen to pieces of music, waving coloured scarves. We have shakers. We have
shakers.
You know, like
right. I thought you meant to be there shaking about or something. No,
no, musical instruments that we shake along. We do different speeds. We sing nursery rhymes. We do action songs like The Wheels on the Bus and Row Row Your Boat. We have sticks that we tap along to the rhythm. We play peekaboo with coloured scarves. We have bubble machines. It's really good fun.
So do some of like the older residents come out with one of the songs they used to sing maybe during the wartime when they were out in the under the subways, the train station when they were getting bombed? Because a lot of them remember their old songs, like "We'll meet again, don't know where." Do they get involved and start adding songs in there?
Yeah. So one of the things I love the most about it is that every session is different, and there are different dynamics every week depending on the residents that are involved and the parents and the children. And we have our kind of set format that we follow. But yeah, some weeks, last week, there was just a sing-along at the end. One of the residents started, it was one of the wartime songs. I think it might have been White Cliffs of Dover. They just started singing that a cappella at the end, and everybody was cheering and clapping, and it was just a lovely, spontaneous moment.
And you can imagine the reminiscence you can see on their face as they start to sing these songs. I suppose that's when the toddlers and the elderly, that's when they actually connect on an emotional level, as in when they start singing a song like that, they'll remember when they were younger, and it brings back memories. It must make them so happy when you do that.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, for people living with dementia, often they can have issues with memory loss. And generally the oldest memories are the ones that survive the longest. So the memories of when they were raising children or even when they were children themselves. So those nursery rhymes that are still popular now were the ones that they were singing maybe 70 years ago. And often those have stayed in their memory, and they can repeat the words to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star word perfectly, even if they've got huge challenges with kind of day-to-day memory. So it's a really powerful tool, that kind of memory recall.
Okay, yeah, because like I said, it can spark off new memories and that, and it can bring a lot of fondness and happiness to some of the older ones. And what I find as well, I don't know whether it's because when people get older, they can identify like mentally with the younger kids, because they've been on their own so long, and maybe whatever reasons they're in a home for might not be the best of the reasons. So to have youngsters coming in doing that. So what homes do you go into? Because we brought this to Newham now. Where was you before Newham?
Yeah, so we've been in Waltham Forest since July last year when I started up the first group in Walthamstow.
So we're coming up to almost a year now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So we've been running in a home in Walthamstow since July. We're in a couple of homes in Leighton. We're launching in Chingford this week, and then we're coming to Newham later this month, which is really exciting.
Okay.
So we're going to be launching our first Newham group at a care home in Forest Gate called Westgate House, and that's on Rumford Road.
Westgate House.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll try and remember that. Get that one out, Westgate House.
And that's going to be Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
And then we are going to be coming to Canning Town and to Ilford as well.
Canning Town, that's my bit there. Yeah.
There we go.
I'm going to just.
Well, you proved you've got a great singing voice, so
I don't know if I proved that, but yeah, I
out.
proved I can definitely sing something out of my mouth. So the next question would be, so say if they wanted to come along, what do they just turn up? Do they contact you first? How does this work? How do you...
Yeah, so give us a shout, basically. If anybody's interested in getting involved, we would absolutely love to hear from you. Yeah. We've got our email address, which is songs@thetogetherproject.co.uk, or our website is www.thetogetherproject.co.uk, and there's a contact form on there. Drop us a line if you're interested in coming along with your children. We say it's kind of 0 to 4-year-olds, but older siblings are welcome too. You might be a parent, you might be a grandparent, you might be a childminder. And then we can give you more information as we start to launch the session. So as I say, we have the Forest Gate ones launching soon, and Canning Town and Ilford are on the cards. We're looking to build up our group of families that want to come so we can launch those groups. So we'd really love to hear from anybody who's interested.
Well, like Talit works a lot in the community, doesn't she?
She does.
And she works with a lot of families, people with children. I've been to many of her groups as well. Yes. So that would be a good point, of course, especially in Canning Town, because at Karitanga House, she does a conversational space where, people with kids, families, older generation, younger ones come in, and I think that would be a brilliant place for you to start your volunteers.
Great.
And it's of course me, I'll come along as well. I have a 7-year-old, so
excellent.
my daughter loves to sing and dance, so just tell her she can go and sing and she'll be there. So yeah, that would be massive. That's massive. So you started off in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you first started in Wolverhampton, did you personally go yourself the first time?
Yes.
Yes.
So
tell us about that first time you did it, like officially as a charity.
Yeah. So it started off because I just literally knocked on the door of my local care home with my son strapped to me in my baby carrier, and said, "Look, I've got this idea for this singing group. I want to bring some local parent friends and their children. What do you think?" And the care home manager was fantastic. He was really enthusiastic about the idea. And so we started it off as an experiment. So the first one, there were about 8 of us, I think, with our little ones. Yeah. And
so where did you get the other 8 then? What?
Friends, really. Yeah,
okay,
local
so
friends, local parent friends.
And,
yeah, exactly. And friends of friends. And I bought a lot of instruments, shakers and bells and tambourines and that.
So if there was anyone willing to donate instruments and stuff like that?
Yeah, instruments and toys we're always looking for. Okay, yeah, absolutely. And so just started the first session off.
What was the first song you sung?
Oh my goodness, that is a good question.
Details, Louise.
I'm going to say The Wheels on the Bus. I don't know if that's true, but that is that is a perennially popular one. Yeah. And we definitely did the Hokey Cokey. I remember that because that was really good fun, and lots of people got up and waved their arms and their legs around and had lots of fun. And I just remember it feeling like a really joyful experience, really uplifting, and seeing lots of smiles in the room. And I thought, do you know what? Yeah, this has got something to it.
And I bet it must have sparked so many conversations afterwards, because some of the nursery rhymes that we sing now have been changed over the years to be more politically correct.
Yes.
You know, stuff like, I remember you just sung Bar Bar Black Sheep, didn't you?
Yes, of course.
Now, apparently there's an issue with singing stuff like that. Have you ever, after when you finish singing your songs now, what kind of conversations come up afterwards? You know, you've had your sing-song, you're all happy, you say you have your tea and coffee break or whatever. Mm-hmm. What kind of conversations do you find that the elder generations start to talk about?
A real mix of things, actually. So a lot of the residents have said that seeing the children brings back lovely memories of when they were raising children themselves, and a lot of them have grandchildren or even great-grandchildren, but often that they don't get to see that often. A lot of us live quite far apart from our extended families. I had a lovely conversation with one of the mums that comes regularly, who is now one of our volunteers, and she said to me, I've got my grandma who lives in a care home 200 miles away, and I hardly ever get to see her. She hardly ever gets to see her great-grandson, and I feel constantly guilty about that. I come to your sessions because I feel like I'm visiting somebody else's grandma, and I really want you to expand so that I know that somebody else is visiting my grandma regularly. And that was quite touching, actually. And that's been quite a common theme. A lot of the parents have said that they realise that older people aren't in their children's lives, and that makes them, you know, a bit sad, really. So it's a way for people to have fun and have a really joyful experience whilst also doing some good for their communities. And we really want everybody to benefit from it, everybody to feel equally as happy and uplifted about it.
Of course. So I suppose we have to go from Wolverhampton, take examples from there, but how many times a week, or is it once a week you would go?
It's once a week in each care home.
Yeah. How many hours?
So it's 1 hour, a 1 hour session. So the music part lasts for about 35 minutes or so, and then we have toys and drinks and biscuits and a chance to chat. And it's lovely as people start to come every week. You see those intergenerational relationships and friendships start to flourish. And I remember, because I'd taken my son in from before he was 1, and he wasn't even crawling at that time. And now he's running around and is a mischievous little toddler. And I remember when the day he started walking, I was so excited to take him into the care home to show him off to everybody. And they loved it. He walked into the residence lounge and they clapped and they cheered.
Look at him.
So it was really special.
So have you got acts? So I know you're starting in Canning Town and other areas and that.
Yep.
How do you find? How many care homes for starters? Because I'm not even aware of how many care homes there would be in a local area. And have you reached out to other care homes yet? What's the situation with going to these care homes? We know you have one.
Yep.
Where you're going to at present.
We have 2 regularly. So one, unfortunately, the one we launched at in Walthamstow, the actual home itself is closing in the next couple of weeks, which is desperately sad. Lots of residents who've lived there for years and years are being moved out to other care homes.
Within the borough or?
Everywhere, a lot of them are moving in the next couple of weeks and they still don't know where or when they're going, so it's very sad. So unfortunately that one's finished, but we have 2 that we run in Leighton each week. We are launching Chingford this week and then the Forest Gate one in a couple of weeks, so that's 4 that are running each week and more to follow soon. We need more volunteers, so I can't run every session on my own. I'm looking for people to help out, so we have what we call group welcomers and group leaders. So what's a
welcomer?
So our welcomers are there to be a friendly face for parents and families as
when they come through the door.
Exactly, because care homes can be quite an unfamiliar environment for people. People might not quite know what to expect. So they're there to welcome them, give them a name badge, get them to sign in the register, show them where to put their buggies. And also to get to know the older people, strike up those friendships too. So it's a really lovely role for anybody that enjoys meeting people and is
sound like a welcomer.
I think you would be a fantastic welcomer.
Okay, and
then the other one is the group leader role.
Group leader.
So experience in some kind of music or singing capacity or teaching would be really useful. It's not essential, but it's quite useful.
Keen and
it's about being confident, being able to hold a tune. We teach you the format for the sessions. So as I said, we have these specially devised these specially devised formats with different sections around movement, around speeds, around actions. So you'd be taught all of that. And then you're the person there, leading the singing.
So how, in the ideal world then, how it would be like you come in as a welcomer when you first volunteer, come in as a welcomer, and if you can identify that there could be good group leaders, then they could graduate, or you can give them the tools to become that.
Potentially.
Like they don't need to take a course or anything, but you can see if somebody's who comes consistently.
Potentially, I mean, we find that people tend to kind of have an idea up front which they want to be. People either like to be the person up front and they're quite a confident singer and confident in leading a group, or they're somebody that likes to be there to welcome people and be the kind of the glue that holds it all together. But absolutely, people could join as a welcomer and kind of see what it's like, and then if they decide actually I think I could do the leader role, then we'd welcome them.
Obviously in the beginning you was reaching out to these care homes and stuff like that. Have you found them coming to you now or calling you for these services now? They are?
Absolutely.
That was a tricky question. I was wondering if you said no, they're not.
It would be bad if I said no, wouldn't it? No, do you know what? We have so much demand from care homes that
it's why you need volunteers now.
Exactly. The BBC actually came to film a short film at the Walthamstow care home a few months back.
Link, didn't you?
Yes,
that's right.
And they posted that on their social media channel, and it was huge. It's had, I think it's about 1.4 million views.
That's massive.
And so it really seemed to strike a chord with people. So after that went live.
Everybody's got a grandmother or a mother that they don't see, and so everyone can identify. Like you said with the mother before, she can't get to see her own, and maybe because of that guilt of that, she wants to provide for other grandmothers and that, knowing that if she can do it in her area, then whoever's in her mother's area, they can start that up there. So it's
exactly. And so many people got in touch off the back of that, care homes from all across the country. And I really wanted to be able to say to every care home, yes, let's do it, but right now it's me working from my kitchen table, recruiting volunteers and trying to find funding as well to help us expand. So that's always another challenge.
You've definitely got a volunteer here. Definitely got a volunteer here. So when's the next one then? When is the next time you go into a care home day?
So we go every week, so we're on Mondays and Wednesdays in Leighton.
This Monday?
Yep.
Okay, so this Monday.
So we were there yesterday.
In Leighton.
Yep, we're in another Leighton care home on Wednesday.
What's the care home?
So the Monday one
Or
is...
would they find out by...
They can look on the website. Yeah, they can look on the website. Monday is at Asprey House.
Asprey House.
Which is on Lee Bridge Road.
Asprey. Oh, I know Asprey House. Oh, well, I know that. I know that. Asprey House, yeah. Okay.
And Wednesdays is at Albany Nursing Home, which is on Albany Road.
It's on Albany Road?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And then we are launching our first Chingford session on Thursday, which is at St Ives Lodge, which is quite near the station.
Okay, so yeah, you're getting about then, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so, well, like I said, it's a good thing you come onto this radio show because we have many connections in the community and stuff like that. And this is what I love about this community radio. We have so much stuff going on and such a great pool of people that... Just being here, you've got one, definitely. So if you walk away with nothing else today, you have me volunteering, yeah? But then I have access to different organisations, and even some of the younger guys. We was talking to the NCS yesterday.
We were talking about this earlier with Louise, and I think what it basically is, this is about something she's been in. She was in the field of marketing. This is the same field.
Yes.
In a different type of work.
Yeah.
So the marketing actually comes in again. So basically what we've got lots of people, lots of organisations that we want to engage with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they can actually start working. But obviously Anthony has said, and I've indicated that I've got 3 grandchildren at the moment. So we'll be, as soon as you invite us to any of them, we'll turn up.
Yeah. Excellent.
And then we can be actually doing something with the family as well. Can't give excuses that we're too busy no more, because we can bring the family.
Exactly.
It's really important. One of the things that really strikes me, because actually, because obviously I'm looking at South Asian families primarily, and obviously Afro-Caribbean communities as well, and families, where you've got, in many cases, still have that remnant of what is extended families. Yeah. And you've got, the grandparents living in the same house, and they're actually meeting up with the grandchildren, which is a fantastic thing to see. And I can just imagine, because, I'm just working it out. So I'm always trying to look at it from my perspective. So I'm in my 70s, I'm sitting here in a care home, suffering from dementia, and suddenly someone elderly comes in. I'm not really fascinated, to be honest. I'm thinking, it's going to be the boring talk or something like that, or they're going to cook some food or something like that. But if a little toddler walked in, I think that would be totally different.
Especially with the older films, like, oh, isn't it cute? Because it reminded them of their child when they were raising them as that. Of course. Definitely.
Yeah, we have a lovely range of ages that come as well. So I think the youngest we've had is a 5-week-old baby, which was lovely.
5 weeks.
Yes, and the mum let a couple of the residents hold the baby, and they were just in 7th heaven. It was lovely. And then through to the toddlers, as you say, they're running about, they're babbling, they're doing the actions to the songs, and that's really good fun. And I think toddlers very much live in the moment, and they have no kind of preconceptions. It's just about energy and fun and laughter, and that can be really uplifting, especially for people that are sitting in a care home environment where they may not get many visitors, if at all. They are essentially looking at the same 4 walls most of the time. A lot of these people have challenges around mobility. It can be very hard for them to get out and about. So actually bringing the local community to them is really beneficial. And it's not just about the influence of the children, but actually having the parents and carers of these children to come in and chat to them as well. That's another dynamic. It's not just about the very oldest and the very youngest, but 3 different generations all coming together to meet. Because
how I look at it as well, with parenting these days, you've got a lot of single parents and stuff like that as well, and sometimes they feel stuck. They've got to either do the housework, or they've got to take the kids to school, they never get time for themselves and that. And because they've got the kid with them, they can't go certain places. This is a perfect opportunity for single mothers that have children that want to get out of the house, do something that's not baby related, that's not, I've got to pick up nappies or I've got to do shopping. Actually go somewhere and have fun with their child, and even get a little break for 5 minutes. Like, here you go to Auntie Nelly over there, and they'll play. So it's a good opportunity, and it's kind of well-being, not just on the part of the elderly in the homes, but from the part of the parents that bring their children as well.
Absolutely.
Gives them a break mentally.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
gives them,
Absolutely. And we find that the parents that come to the sessions tend to be really lovely people, because they're coming because they want to make a difference and be part of their community. So it's always a really lovely group of people, that are very friendly, dynamic as well. So the kind of place you could come and make some other parent friends.
Exactly, because I know a lot of single mothers, they feel restricted, like in a good sense. Yeah, you know, they've got the job, but they're devoted to the child. So there's not many places where maybe a single parent would feel secure in a group setting, going somewhere, unless it's an after-school club, or whether they're going to the nursery or whatever, you know. Sometimes just to go and see, you're going somewhere to put a smile on somebody's face, that you know you're making somebody's whole week up. I'm sure some of them might look forward to that week. The minute you've gone, they're already counting the days when you're coming back.
I was speaking to the activities coordinator at the care home in Walthamstow that's closing down last week. And she said that so many of the residents say, when's it Friday? And can they come every day? Can they come on Monday and Wednesday? And it's the highlight of their week. So if you could ask, so if I said to you, okay, what can we do for you, that will help you the most, in keeping this going and keeping this programme and spreading it out to more people. One, I know you're going to say volunteers and stuff like that, So think of something else that we can do as a community to support you more. Not money and not volunteers, because that's already covered in whatever areas. Sure.
Think of something else.
I guess spreading the word about what we're doing, really, helping to publicise what we're doing. So follow us on social media is great, so we can help amplify our message.
Do you have flyers or posters?
We have flyers, we've got our website as well. Okay. So I can send flyers and posters out to anybody that wants them. I'll give you an email address, you can give that, because especially at Anchor House, you know, we can stick those up and, you know, people can see it and maybe make a call in that, because you'd be surprised, as you would know yourself, a lot of people love to do stuff in the community, but either can't find the time, or they can't find it compatible with their lifestyle and something like that. But when it's on your doorstep, when it's like an hour and you know you're really making a difference, when people see it, they can start to, in their own mind, think, okay, well, you know, I might have a Wednesday afternoon off. If I can do this and that, then I can go do this. So putting posts, it's all good, social media, that's important, but sometimes a good old-fashioned poster stuck somewhere for someone to walk past and see, like, I didn't know that. Absolutely.
You know, it's good stuff. So if you will send me all of that would be magnificent. That would be great.
Great.
So you're going to be on Monday? No, Mondays you do Leytonstone, Ashtray House.
Leyton,
yes.
Leytonstone,
Monday and Wednesdays is Leyton.
Wednesday is Forest Gate.
Leyton. Monday and Wednesday is Leyton. Thursday, Chingford. And then Wednesday morning we are going to be starting in at Forest Gate on the 27th of June.
Wednesday morning?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to be in Forest Gate. Oh yeah, because you said the other place is closing.
Walthamstow is closing,
So that's the Forest Gate. Because just a personal little background myself, like I said, I was explaining to them about my grandmother, and she was diabetic, she had heart trouble, stuff like that, and I was a carer for a while. And by the way, it's Carers Week as well, soon, isn't it?
Yes, it's this week.
Yeah, this week. Yes. Okay, right. So somehow I'm going to try and make your project and Carers Week linked together. Maybe I might even talk to Ruth. And see if she knows, and you know, just talk to everyone and see if we get some people to start. You know, because it's an hour. It's really, really important. This is because, like I said, my grandmother, I was a carer for nearly 10 years. Did everything for her, but it was just me. And once I left the home to do whatever I had to do, there wasn't many visitors. And I know she was actually at home, but I know how important it was for her when there was a family occasion coming up, or it was a birthday and that, because everyone come to my grandmother's home. And those were some of the happiest times and the biggest smiles I was seeing on my grandmother's face when the new baby of the family came round, or, you know, the uncle no one's seen for 10 years turned up, and it was always a magical affair. And I feel when some of these older generations get put into a home, they kind of feel, not all of them of course, but maybe they feel discarded, or like, you know, I've done my lot in life, I've raised my family, now nobody wants to talk to me no more. You know, and maybe that's what might be the onset of maybe some dementias or some sadness for elderly people, because they feel that they're not wanted or they're not needed, or they don't feel what they've got to say is relevant. So you going in with these kids singing, dancing, sparking memories of a better time for them, it's a lifeline. I think you might be adding a couple of years onto these people's lives, and that's the truth. You know, so congratulations to you for that.
Thank
because
you.
It's like you took this on in your own back. It's not like you was working with this organisation or volunteering and, you know, you've been promoted to the top. You actually started this and founded this. How difficult was this to start off in the beginning? I know you was working around it, but did you find it difficult?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
To be honest, is the simple answer.
So to make it easier to the question, what was some of the biggest obstacles you found?
So the care sector is very new to me. It's not something that I'd worked in before, so I wanted to immerse myself in it, really understand how care homes work, the challenges that they have, the difficulties.
There was a few years where the care home wasn't really getting a very good reputation, you know.
Yeah, and that
like
can still be the case, absolutely.
You know, so outsiders coming in, they might have been a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's huge funding difficulties with care homes. Lots of care homes are closing. We spend an unbelievably small amount of money on later life care because, you know, finances are so strapped at the moment, and that has huge repercussions. So understanding the sector and the challenges that it faces, recruiting volunteers and working out how to spread the word, surrounding myself with experts, understanding more about conditions like dementia and the challenges that can bring with people, but also how we can help people to live well with dementia. So I am a volunteer with the Alzheimer's Society as well. I'm a trained Dementia Friends champion, which means that I can deliver what are called Dementia Friends information sessions.
That's another question as well, because I was just thinking that there's some residents as well that maybe found difficult.
Yeah.
You know, when you come in, you can be happy, sing as you like, but you might just get, go away, or when I was a kid, blah, blah, this and that. Have you come across, well, obviously no names, but could that be difficult sometimes when you go into an environment?
Yeah,
like
so the care home staff will assess everybody's suitability to come to the activity. So anybody with very challenging behaviour where it was considered they weren't possibly it wasn't the right environment for them, wouldn't come
before you actually come.
But still, we have people with a huge range of conditions and capabilities, and dementia can throw up surprises, but generally in really lovely ways. So there was a lady at one of the care homes who, when I first started going there, she doesn't really speak, so she just kind of makes these low humming noises, and the first couple of times she would do that occasionally through the sessions, and then as we started to come over time, I noticed that those low humming noises had turned to a kind of singing and a laughter, and so she would just start this kind of low-level laughter, and as the children came in and the songs started and the children would come up to her, it would just develop into this full-on uproarious laughter, and it was a really beautiful thing to watch, and it was quite life-affirming. And one time, a couple of months in, there was a chap sitting next to her who I hadn't seen before, and at the end of the session he kind of quite gruffly said, "Whose idea was all this?" And I said, "Oh, mine," thinking I was going to get a bit of a telling off, and his face softened, and he said, "Thank you so much. I've really noticed a difference in her." And I said, "Oh, how do you know this lady?" He said, "I'm her husband. I come in to visit her every day."
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I've noticed such a change in her since you've been coming. So feedback like that has made it all worthwhile. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh wow, wow.
It's exactly what we were talking about yesterday. So we had people from various organisations. So we had someone from Rosetta Art, someone from the refugee, although they're chief executives and they get funding and everything like that. But the fact was that they love the job.
Yes.
Which is the most important thing. The first time I met Louise, and then my daughter came into the conversation as we were talking, and I introduced my daughter, and this is the thing she said. She even speaking to you, she found it so therapeutical.
Yeah.
Just about finding out what you do.
Yeah.
Because she's the person who told me about this program that she watched on Channel 4. And it was very similar. You know, they were doing some work with children and people and the elderly, and it was so magical, and she learned so much from that. And she said, someone's really doing that in the local area. You know, you see something on TV, and then you forget about it. But someone in the local area has got the bottle to do this, actually really do it, rather than saying, well, I'll let someone else do it. And that's just amazing, you know, for her. And I would second her. You're an angel.
Oh,
Fantastic.
Yeah, because especially as well in this line of work, whether it's for the homeless or whether it's for kids or elderly and that, when you're not part of the establishment as per se, and you're coming in with a bright idea and it's kind of working, you kind of get these, how can I put it, blockers, I suppose, in one way I put it, like people that they don't resent what you're doing. They know it's a brilliant, great idea, but because you haven't got the certificate or you wasn't 15 years in the care establishment and that, they're constantly trying to chuck statistics and stuff at you and do you know this and do you know that. But that's why I say you have to have a passion to do this
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because
and a tough skin.
Yeah, definitely a tough skin, because that's what gets you over these bumps, gets you over all maybe some of the negativity that comes through, because you know you're delivering a service from the goodness of your heart, a service that you truly believe in, and a service that actually works. And it's nothing more rewarding when somebody comes up to you and you actually think you're going to get a telling off, and they turn around and say thank you. You've done something that they've been trying to do for years. You've done something that as an outsider, maybe you shouldn't have done that so quickly. You know, I'm a loved one. Why didn't I get through like this? And once you get past of all of that from people and they see the pure goodness of your work, then that's amazing. Like, I feel comfortable knowing that if I go into an old people's home now, I'll be all right, because there's groups like yours, there's projects like yours that's going to come in and put a smile on my face. And you know what, I'd love to see a project like this at least 3 times a week in like each care home, 3 times a week. But that's up to us as a community to support these groups like this. And an hour a week, come on.
Absolutely.
Come on, you know.
But and the other thing is because you're not actually, the people you're helping is not just one type of person. So you're not necessarily just helping the elderly.
Yes.
So you're helping the child.
Yep.
Because and that's very, very important.
And the parents as well.
Absolutely. And the parents and the people who are coming in and the other children.
Probably
and
the
also
staff as well.
Well, yes, that's what I was about to say, actually, because the activities coordinator who I mentioned that I was speaking to last week said, she said, this is a really tough job. It's quite stressful. And actually, when you come in and the parents and the children, it gives us a chance to just relax and have fun with the residents. You know, they spend all their time cleaning, changing them, feeding them. Exactly.
Making sure they're safe and checking this and that. Sometimes at the end of the day, you might have even wanted to spend time with a certain elderly person or one of the residents there. But by the time you've got through what you have to do, it's the end of the day and you need to go. And maybe you don't get the chance to have that experience you wanted to have. So you guys coming in and kind of just breaking it up and giving them a chance to breathe and giving them a chance to... And plus as well, that's when the personalities start to come out of these people. The new, the young, the old. You see their person and you're like, oh, so that's why she always does that on a whatever morning. Oh, that's why she's always in this mood. Or that's why she always does this certain thing, because you've given them a chance to open up and just be themselves. Be themselves, and there's nothing more creative than that, I suppose.
And it can improve the mood of the care home for the rest of the day and the coming days as well. Is the feedback that we've had as well. And if the residents are happy, it makes the staff's job much easier and more fulfilling as well. And we've also had a few of the residents' family members come along to the sessions as well, particularly those residents that have dementia, because they enjoy seeing their loved one happy, engaged, playing with the instruments, playing with the children, and it's a lovely way to just spend time together without having, you know, to sit and have a conversation, which is a lovely thing to do, but sometimes you just want to relax and have fun together.
Because what comes to mind now, you saying that, what comes to mind now is if, okay, I've got my grandmother in a care home and she's been down in the dumps, I go to visit her, but, you know, you saw maybe she's moaning about something all the time and that, then to go away and then come back and have the nursing staff saying, oh yeah, she was taking part in this yesterday, she come out with this, she told us about your Uncle Ralph, you know, that had this hilarious scene at the beach 15 years ago, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, that must make them so curious to like, oh, okay, I need to come and see this session. You know, what's going on? How did she open up like that? And that's, so to me, even the family that even probably don't even visit a lot, just that, you know, routine visit just to check she's okay or whatever, that could turn into a more frequent visit for them. So you go now and you leave, the whole good vibes left behind, and then you hear about that good vibe. So that in turn brings people that don't only come once a week, maybe they'll come twice now, and then they get more, you're good. You're good. The psychology of it all is very good.
I think something else that is really important for people to understand as well about dementia. So dementia is associated with losing your memory, and that is one of the most common symptoms. So people with quite advanced dementia might have real difficulties with short-term memory, and a lot of people think, oh, what's the point in going to visit them, because they've forgotten that I've come by the end of it. And yes, they might forget, depending on the severity of their dementia, they might forget the actual visit, the fact that you came, but we know that with dementia that what remains is the emotional side of things. So the feelings of being loved, being cared for, made to feel safe and secure and happy, those remain. So speaking with my Alzheimer's Society volunteer hat on, we always really encourage people that know somebody with dementia to carry on visiting them, because even if they don't remember the specific details of the visit, those memories of feeling loved and feel happy will remain with them, and that's how we can help people to really live well with dementia, which is so important.
And I suppose as well, as a community, with what your project does, it opens a door, for the community, for loved ones, everyone around these people, whichever home they're at, to realise that, remember, they're still people, they're still part of our society, they still have feelings, they still have memories, whether they remember it at that specific time or not, they still need human compassion.
Absolutely.
So we're just, to me, we're highlighting that, so then when you come out of there, people will be more inclined to go there and visit a bit more, or, you know, even if you're going to the shop, you're busy, let me just pop in and say hello, listen, I can't stop, going to pick the little one up, just wanted to check you're right. You don't know how much of an impact that can have on someone, to know that somebody was actually thinking of you, even though they couldn't stop. You know, they come in just to say hi and go. It's such a life affirming experience, I would think, for them, because like, you know what, this is why I love doing this show, you know, things that you never hear of before, and then realise how powerful that somebody's work that they're doing, and my brain just starts going off with lots of ideas now, like, okay, well, I'm going to jump in and do this, and I know this person who would love to come and do this. Oh, look, I've got a 7-year-old daughter, I'm going to bring her and that. So now I want date times, this, that, a lot. And it's about getting the message out there, of course. It's got to be about letting everyone know. And because, like we said, we've all got older family members and that. Okay, not all of them goes to a home and that, but there's some reasons why elderly people may have to go to home. You know, they may have lost everyone, and you know, or they can't maintain their own household for whatever reasons. But it's not all. They're not there all because there's something wrong. They're not there because, you know, they've got some defect or something. They're just there. They're at their latter stage of life. They need people around them 24/7 to look after them. And don't forget, a lot of them's got pride as well. A lot of them looked after themselves all their lives. They've raised families. So to be in a place like that where somebody's constantly coming doing your bed or making your cups and tea or stuff like that, the simple things that you would have done in your life yourself, you now have people around you doing it for you, and even though it's not because they don't trust you or they think it's too dangerous and that, but it's their job to make sure you're comfortable. But some elderly people may not take it as that. It's them losing a part of control of their life. So having you come in and just making them a part of society and part of it's powerful. It's powerful because you know.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things we were looking at last year, there was a couple of years ago, there was the atrocious murder of Joe Cox, who was the police lady who was killed.
Gosh, yes, right.
And then last year, the report came out on the same day. They talked about, because she was very much into this working with people who are lonely, and the figure that came out is out of 60 to 65 million people in the UK, 9 million people are lonely. So that crosses the ages. It doesn't have to be elderly necessarily. So that's a damning verdict on the UK. And if you're doing anything positive to help people, and what I find, especially with this program, is actually you might be actually helping people that you don't even realize. So for example, someone who comes along with their child has got grandparents, but they've never ever thought about maybe doing this activity with their grandparents at home. Because most of the time, if you've got elderly people in your home, you only know them for certain reasons, because they're in a room, and if you go in there, they're going to get upset about something, or they're going to shout at you because you haven't actually assessed what the situation is, and over a period of time you become so stuck in your own rut of life that you think that's what they want. But what you find is suddenly you change the mode, and suddenly they learn something new from yourselves. They go and test it on their own family, and it works. Oh, actually, go and talk to them about something. Conversations. Human beings are about conversations, aren't they? We like talking.
And that's what it is as well, because it's not just loneliness as in there's no one around you. You could be mentally lonely. You can have the whole world around you, but you don't feel you can communicate because they don't understand, or they're not on the same wavelength as you. So it's not just lonely as in people, or you've got no one around you. You can have people around you, but because you're not engaging with them mentally, you could be lonely because you don't want to share in that. So what your project's doing is opening that door. And bloody, a 3-week-old baby, 5-year-old baby, that's the best way to open up doors, isn't it? Everyone loves a baby, don't they?
And it's a great talking point as well.
How old is he? Oh gosh, where's
exactly.
It's amazing.
Endless topics of conversation. And what's lovely as well is that some of the parents have said there's something quite refreshing about speaking to older generations that have been there, done that, gone through the sleepless nights, survived the toddler tantrums, all of those kind of things, and can kind of reflect back and actually look back on it as a really golden time in their lives. And sometimes it makes me think, it is quite a special time actually, raising little ones. And you can get bogged down with the sleeplessness or the tantrums, as I said, but actually taking a bit of a step back and thinking how those memories are going to stay with you into your later years is quite powerful.
Absolutely. I think the other dimension, which is going back to the child. Now, we know children who've been brought up with their grandparents always tell fond stories about their grandparents and what they learnt. And those people and those children who don't get that opportunity, I think there's some ways always missing in their lives. Here's an opportunity for young people, particularly as a child, because what we know is that whatever happens to a person as a child actually shapes their future.
Of course.
And if the case is that they're part of their life, they're not always stuck on a mobile phone, or they're not always watching TV, they're doing something quite positive. They're going out there, they're meeting someone they probably never met before, getting to know that particular person. That's going to be a very fond memory. That's going to change. That's going to shape their future.
They'll be talking. That's cool. So, can we talk about this? You said you're part of the Alzheimer's
Society.
Tell us a bit more about that, please.
So I am a Dementia Friends champion.
Dementia Friends champion.
So Dementia Friends is...
How did you become one of those?
So when I started up the Together project, as I said, I wanted to really immerse myself into this world. So dementia is a condition that a lot of the residents are living with. So I attended a Dementia Friends information session. So this is a social action movement that's run by the Alzheimer's Society. It's a 1-hour session that gives people a bit of information about...
Is this open to most people?
Yes, so they want as many people in the UK as possible to attend one of these sessions. So it's a really interesting, engaging session. It's gives a bit more information about what it's like to live with dementia, but crucially tells people how we can help to support our communities
them
and
the
make them more
tools,
dementia friendly. So I attended one of these sessions in the first instance just to understand more about the condition, and then decided to train as somebody that can deliver those sessions myself, so that I can deliver them to our volunteers and potentially to any of the parents that want to understand a bit more about the condition as well. So
they could contact you, could they, to become a...
Yes, potentially. So I occasionally run Dementia Friends information sessions.
Okay.
So if people are interested, either myself or part of our network at the Alzheimer's Society can organise those.
Okay, wow. Okay, so obviously you've learnt the tools and that. So how do you personally use them tools? Like, give me an example of what you've learnt, and then you've gone to a home and applied them tools. Like, give me an example, for instance.
I guess it's about understanding the type of challenges that people with dementia might have. So we most commonly associate dementia with losing your memory, but actually every single function of the brain can be affected by dementia. So perception, people might see a shiny floor and think it's wet, or see a mat on the floor in front of a shop and think it's a hole and be too scared to move forward. It can affect their verbal skills, so people can have difficulty with speaking. It can affect processes, so somebody might have difficulty getting dressed. They might have problems with sequencing, so they might put their trousers on and then put their underpants on top. They can get words confused. They can call a cat a dog and a dog a cat. Every single part, motor skills, using a knife and fork. So it's being aware of the many different ways that dementia can impact somebody, and giving them the time that they might need, giving them the space to help them communicate. Not assuming, though, that somebody can't do something and always stepping in and do it for them, but actually doing something with somebody rather than doing it for them.
Because that could annoy them even more.
Exactly,
like I
and
was
frustrate
saying earlier,
people.
Taking that control away from them, or thinking, I'm not a child, I can do this.
Exactly.
I've been living longer than you've been walking, or whatever.
One thing that's really important as well, I think, is not talking immediately to somebody, or to the carer. So talking about somebody as if they're not there.
That could be annoying. That's annoying for any age.
Exactly, but it's something, unfortunately, that sometimes people do without even realising that they're doing it. They assume that person can't speak for themselves.
Has she eaten today?
Exactly.
Has she got all her clothes on properly?
And you might need a bit of help from a carer or somebody.
Ways of doing it and tact. Because now, like, this is why I ask questions like this, because I just thought dementia was you lost your memory, that's it, that's what it is, that's the nuts and bolts of it. But you've just explained to me a whole line of symptoms that can be classed as that, which I honestly didn't know, and that's amazing. Like misidentifying things, at looking at, or seeing things from other perspectives, like, I didn't even think I thought that was a total different thing altogether. But that's part of Alzheimer's.
Dementia is a very complex. Alzheimer's is the most common type of dementia, but there's over 100 different types of dementia.
So they're both, see, I said that by accident, but they're both kind of the same thing linked together.
Dementia describes a set of symptoms. Dementia is caused by diseases of the brain, and it affects the brain in lots of different ways, and Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, but there's over 100 different types of dementia, and they all have slightly different progressions and affect the brain and the body in different ways.
That's what I mean. So now, if anyone was watching this later and they heard this, they might think, oh, okay, so my grandparent, or that's what they're suffering from, because these kind of symptoms they might have no memory loss at all, but everything else you've said they may suffer from. And there could be a family out there now that may see these symptoms all the time from one of their elders, but not associated it with dementia.
Absolutely.
Because to them, dementia is memory loss. She's got a fine memory, she remembered what she did 20 years ago, But there's this is important. This is good. I'm glad you said this now.
Yeah.
Because
So if people look for Dementia Friends online, there's a whole website that the Alzheimer's Society have produced about this social action movement, and people can go and attend a session, or there are videos and resources online as well. It's a really useful hub of information.
So, if somebody recognise any of these symptoms from one of their grandparents or their elders, what would be the first thing they should do? Would it be a GP? What would they find is there someone they can talk to first about it?
Generally going to GP is always a good first step, and the Alzheimer's Society have got a lot of information on their website and helplines and support. So those are probably the two best avenues.
Okay, well, would you believe that's an hour?
Wow.
We said this.
But a couple more questions that I want to ask. So let's just put everything that we've discussed into a nice nutshell so we're all clear. So number one, you are the founder of the Together Project, okay, which does...
we do joyful intergenerational activities to bring the younger and the older people in our generation, in our society together.
Okay. And you're currently working in...
We are in 2 care homes in Leighton. We're launching in Chingford this week, and we are launching in Forest Gate at the end of the month, with Ilford and Canning Town to come, and hopefully various other ones as well.
And how would they find out more information on this?
People can go to our website, which is www.thetogetherproject.co.uk. We're on Facebook as well. If you search for The Together Project, we should come up. And we're on Twitter at together_proj, Proj. Or they can drop us an email, songs@thetogetherproject.co.uk.
Or they can come here to Minhaj al-Quran and they get the information.
And what you need most at the moment is...
volunteers, support, spreading the word.
Spreading the word. Well, Louise, it's been a complete pleasure. Is there any final questions?
I think for us, we would want to help Louise as much as possible. The message out there for people is that, look, especially for Minhaj, it's an Islamic organisation. When we look at the Prophet saying, and the Prophet talks about living the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran basically teaches you to do some action. It's about reading the book, which is fantastic, and I commend those people that do. But living the Holy Quran is the sort of thing Louise does, and she wants our support. Going and doing something quite positive, it'll bring a smile not only to your face, but to hundreds of other people's faces. And what more can you do? And I think the Prophet would be much more pleased with you if you were to do that. So that's the message.
And plus, them 100 faces you put them on will then go on to another 100 faces onto there, and then them 100 faces on and on and on until everybody's involved. Once again, thank you to Louise Goulden, from the Together Project. This has been the Community Hour. Myself, Anthony Lewis, and Shahid
Mahmood.
I know.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
It's been
Thank you so
pleasure.
much. My pleasure.
That's okay.